All right, people, you guys are tuning in, watching and or listening to another Nomadic Cole video for your guys' entertainment. Be sure you guys leave a like, leave a comment, share, and of course, motherfucking subscribe for more. We've got the 20th. That's right, the big 20. Big 20th. That's a double 10. Yeah, 20th episode of the great Nomadic motherfucking news for you guys tonight, streaming directly live onto YouTube. Let me go ahead and put on this chat overlay so that way all you fans of the Nomadic Cole channel and of Nomadic News can go ahead and check this out and comment, of course, and just see what on earth is going on here. So you guys can comment. You'll get a free shout out with your channel and username here in the comment section. So guys, let's get straight into the news, shall we? Let's get straight into the Nomadic news. Well, one of the big things that happened this week, ladies and gentlemen, in the circle of sports to start us off is the Dallas Cowboys actually won a fucking game, guys. My Dallas Cowboys actually won a motherfucking game. I know it sounds a little shocking, a little bit surprising, but it's really not that surprising. We beat the Washington Commanders, upset them, I should say. We upset the Commanders. I guess there was a good game plan finally coming in. A few guys came in, got healthy. Deron Bland came off of, injury and came back into the game. Some of these young bucks stepped up, and, well, the Dallas Cowboys ended up winning a game against the Washington Commanders. That game was scored 34-26, Dallas, at the Washington Commanders Stadium. And, guys, let me just tell you this. Does that mean the season's going to turn around? Probably not. We probably got like one or two more wins coming up next with us. But here's some of my takeaways from the game early. One of those is that Cooper Rush looked good. Threw more yards than Dak did in the majority of his games this season. He had a better passer rating than Dak Prescott did in any of his games during this season. And threw for 2 touchdowns, ladies and gentlemen. And he didn't turn the ball over. No picks, not even a fumble, And I feel like I kind of expected that, I was kind of right that Cooper Rush is a superior QB, at least in the pocket, at least when it comes to passing, than Dak Prescott is. He looked good. He looked steady. He looked stable. And yeah, he had a game. He balled out. And the defense also looked solid in this game as well. They, didn't get completely pieced up by Austin Eckler. They were okay on most of the plays. Even got a few sacks and picks. So, the defense looked all right. But I'm not saying they're going to ever, even go to the playoffs. I definitely know they're not going to the Super Bowl. But, we play the Giants next week, a very shitty team. They're supposed to start either Drew Lock or Danny DeVito. They're basically just trying to lose out. So, Thanksgiving game, maybe you watch the Dallas Cowboys win a game against the Giants. If the Cowboys decide to play for pride and step up to the plate, they can actually beat the Giants. I also wouldn't be surprised if we beat the Carolina Panthers later on down the road as well. Maybe we can give the Bengals a tough time. I don't think we're beating the Philadelphia Eagles, but, a guy can dream, I guess. But yeah, maybe in Madden, this team wins out the rest of the season and goes all the way to the playoffs and goes to a wild card round. But nah, this is real life. It's not Madden. And I don't think the Cowboys. It's just not our year, guys. It's not our year. But yeah, what do you guys think of this Dallas Cowboys game? What do you think of the NFL? What's your NFL team? Let us know here in the comments, right here in the chat, or down below. And we also have some more news coming up to you guys right here. One of the other, surprising news stories to come out is, it's having to deal with the Kamala Harris campaign. So Kamala Harris has been pretty awfully quiet after losing the election. I don't think anyone is really surprised by that. But apparently Kamala Harris has been getting drunk off the Henny, and is she did some sort of like video that was supposed to motivate her fan base, her stands, and it just was sad. Her hair was all frazzled up, and she sounded drunk for sure. Her words were a little slurred, and yeah, I mean, she just looked tired and out of it. She's been taking the loss hard, and I love it, Maggle. I love it. It's hilarious. Like, there truly is nothing better than Kamala Harris getting absolutely destroyed and crying and just being sad in general. I mean, come on, this lady called us trash. They said that we're a basket of deplorables. So what do you expect? Don't be looking at me if if you're gonna be mad at me for rubbing it in a little bit, doing a little bit of trolling and talking a little bit of shit, and being happy that some of these people are sad. Because guess what? With me, you get the same energy that you give back. If you're nice to me, I'll be nice to you. If you're chill, you're chill. I've said it 1,000 motherfucking times. If you're chill, you're motherfucking chill. But these Democrats, these DNC shills, the establishment, they're not chill. They hate us. They don't care about us. They don't care about the working class. So guess what? Fuck them. They are trash. They are garbage. They are the basket of deplorables right now. In other news, recently, Jill and Joe Biden were doing some sort of speech talking about Joe Biden retiring. Jill Biden was glazing Joe Biden, saying that he was like the best ever and some bullshit like that. It was really sad. It was really trash. Joe Biden actually started crying. Poor Biden, Sleepy Joe. He was crying. He was sad, because they lost and because he's got to retire. And yeah, that was pretty funny. That happened pretty recently. I think that was like yesterday when that happened. But yeah, go check that out if you get the chance on YouTube. I think you can just look for like Joe Biden retirement speech or whatever. But yeah, there was that. Also, as far as Joe Biden is concerned, I did mention it last time. Want to talk a little bit more in depth about it this time. Joe Biden has approved the Ukraine, which is this default background here, the Ukraine to use long-range missiles created by the U.S. On Russian targets. They actually already have launched those long-range missiles onto a Russian ammunition depot across the border. And now President Putin is saying that he can retaliate with nuclear weapons by basically amending his nuclear weapons clause. So that's scary. Yeah. So that is terrifying. Um, but hopefully Donald Trump can go in there, cut a deal, and fix this shit. In at least the next year. It's going to take some time. Foreign policy takes a while. There's going to be a lot of dramas over the next, weeks and months, but we'll see what happens. In other news, what else was there? In other news, there is, Rexus Prime is doing a new book. If you haven't known already, my friend Rexus Prime, check him out. He's on Discord. He's also on Rumble. I forget what his Rumble account is called, but he's got an interesting Rumble account. And yeah, he is doing a new book. And look out for that. It's going to be good. Hopefully he releases it as an audio book so I can get it. That'd be pretty cool. But yeah, Rexus Prime, he's getting a new book. In the boxing news, obviously we know what happened recently. Mike Tyson fought Jake Paul, not Logan Paul, Jake Paul. Mike Tyson fought Jake Paul and lost by decision. They went the distance. Mike Tyson ended up pocketing about $20 million, which is good for him. He can pay off his debt. But it's pretty sad. It was pretty sad to see him fight because, he kind of looked a little bit. He showed some flashes of his old self. He's doing some bobbing and weaving and throwing some punches, and he got a few decent shots in the early rounds. And then he just got tired. He was gassed after round 2. And yeah, it was sad. It was sad. It was sad, Skip. And I saw at the entrance, you could just kind of see it in his eyes. You could see the look in Mike Tyson's eyes that he just kind of knew he was not going to win this fight. I mean, he just looked bummed. He looked depressed. And whether you think it's scripted or you think he's just old or tired or whatever, he didn't look good. You ask me, it wasn't right to put a 60-year-old man against a 27-year-old looking to make a name for himself. Little 27-year-old Disney kid. But you got to give it to Jake Paul. Kid's got some decent fundamental boxing skills, okay? He can throw a punch. He's got that big overhand right. Got to give it to him. So, yeah, there's that. And in the news with the WWE, there's not a whole lot going on that's really interesting, but LA Knight is actually going to fight Shinsuke Nakamura. Shinsuke Nakamura, by the way, if you don't know who he is, he was in New Japan for a while, and then he went to WWE. He was pretty popular with the Smarks in NXT, and then went and won a Rumble, and then lost at Mania, and then he was kind of a heel for a bit, and then he got injured, and he was out of the company for a while, and then he was just kind of a jobber for a while and did a little tag team stint, and now he's just kind of back, and he's trying to fight the U.S. champ, LA Knight. So, yeah, hopefully LA Knight, can go and kick his ass. There's a couple other interesting things as well, tidbits. There's the new Wyatt family, the Wyatt Six. They're running around, and they're having a feud with Killer Cross and his gang of, basically jobbers. But, hey, WWE doesn't know how to book Killer Cross very well, and it's kind of sad because Killer Cross is one of the best wrestlers from Impact. So there's that. Also, CM Punk is joining the Bloodline, apparently. Oh boy, the Bloodline. They just don't know how to let it go. They've been doing this bloodline thing for like fucking 3 or 4 years now, and it's just overrated. It's getting boring. It's too long and drawn out, and I don't know what it is, man. It's not bringing in ratings. No one cares, but the Smarks will still eat it up, and I guess that's what WWE is banking on. They're banking on the Smarks because the Smarks still show up to the shows. The Smarks still buy the merchandise. The Smarks still follow the storylines. The Smarks still eat the shit up. Fuck the Smarks. Fuck Wrestling Otaku. And yeah, this new Bloodline thing or whatever they're trying to do right now, it's not. It ain't it, Skip. It ain't it. Yeah. Also, in other news for geopolitics, not in other words, LOL. In geopolitics, there is also something important going on. In geopolitics, Donald Trump is actually going to, he's going to broker some peace deals between a lot of these countries that are having wars. But one of the big ones that it is believed pretty much all around that this deal, there's going to be a ceasefire between Hezbollah and Israel. And that we can root on. That we can root on. Peace between Hezbollah and Israel for now. Hopefully we get something between Gaza and Israel. But at the end of the day, it really is up to Bibi Netanyahu. Does Bibi Netanyahu want to keep bombing children? Does he want to keep bombing all these churches and schools and infrastructure? We'll see. So far, Donald Trump has said it. I think I've said it before multiple times on this channel that Bibi Netanyahu, he does not want a deal. He does not want peace. He does not give a fuck about that. What Bibi Netanyahu wants is he wants blood. Thing is, it's not even an eye for an eye thing. I mean, people will say, oh, but, October 7th, and it was brutal. Yeah, it was brutal. It was terrible. I agree. It was terrible. It was a horrible, horrible, horrible situation on October 7th. None of that is justified. None of it at all. Okay? Like, 1,200 people died. It was bad. It was bad. Okay? That doesn't mean you also get to bomb 44,000 people. The numbers jumped from 42,000 to 44,000 and still growing. Doesn't mean you get to just bomb 42,000 people. That goes way past eye for an eye. And it's certainly not, being kind to your neighbor. Instead, you are killing a lot of people doing that. So, yeah, Bibi is killing a lot of people, in a country that is very densely populated. It is a tiny country. I mean, you see on the map, Gaza. I mean, people just don't get just how small Gaza is. It is fucking tiny. And they are entirely locked. They're like a little square. They are entirely locked all the way around them. They're surrounded as Israel. They have a big border, big fence and border and high-tech security, security gates and all this, barbed wire, whatnot. They have this big border, security guards, snipers, everything surrounding it. And Gaza is like jack. Israel has, you have to give them credit where it's due. They've tried to broker some sort of peace agreements, and Hamas, terrible as they are, as an authoritarian dictatorship, has rejected a lot of that and taken it for themselves. But, because it's so densely populated, when Israel goes in and does these carpet bombing operations, because that's what they are, it's carpet bombing, artillery barrages, carpet bombing, very violent attacks, drone strikes, everything. When Israel does these things, it almost always has people in harm's way. There's ways Israel could easily, get around this. They could easily flood and gas these tunnels that Hamas is living in. They could easily, do raids with their highly trained special forces teams. They can easily do specific targeted drone strikes. They can easily, do covert operations and espionage on Hamas and take out specific members, limiting the casualties. But instead, Israel decides to do these big bombings. And it's crazy. It's crazy, Skip. It ain't right. And in a country that is 80% women and children, that most of that group, 44,000 dead, probably more now, because the last time I checked was like a few days ago. Probably more. 44,000 dead, over 100,000 injured, thousands displaced, missing, or fled the country. And Egypt and their Arab allies, they certainly won't help them. Egypt won't do anything for them. But yeah, I mean, it's just a terrible situation all the way around. But point is, it's up to Bibi Netanyahu if he wants to be a fucking warmonger or if he wants to actually go and make a deal. But according to Donald Trump, he's talked to both sides, and one side doesn't want to make a deal. And we all know which side doesn't want to make a deal, because Hamas is waving the fucking white flag. They are a ragtag band of militiamen with a handful of, yes, very rich, powerful, corrupt, greedy men that should be taken out. Absolutely. But their actual force is ragtag militia, untrained people who really don't know that much, religious zealots pretty much. They can't, and they're taking on a force that's literally the fucking military industrial complex. It's literally Raytheon, Boeing, General Dynamics, fucking Lockheed Martin. It's literally that. It's brutal. It's brutal. It's no wonder they're waving the fucking white flag and saying they want a ceasefire the day after Donald Trump gets elected, because they know if they don't, if they don't surrender arms and get a ceasefire, then Donald Trump's going to fuck them up. I mean, he fucking appointed Mike Huckabee to be the Israeli ambassador. Mike Huckabee, I mean, he is going to kiss Israeli ass, and if Israeli tells him to jump, he'll just ask how high, basically. So, yeah, of course, Hamas is fucking terrified, shitting their pants. Yeah, that's pretty much all it is for that. And finally, I want to talk about some of the Trump cabinet picks. There's a few guys, of course, I said last time, a few guys I think really, really great cabinet picks. A few really great cabinet picks. A few kind of mid, a lot of kind of mediocre cabinet picks that I don't really care too much about, and a few of very bad cabinet picks, horrible cabinet picks. So I think we'll start with the good. I think we'll start with the good cabinet picks, because I'm not going to say all of them, but I'm going to cover the main ones, the major ones that have been announced. Because obviously, I mean, the cabinet is literally 4,000 positions that need to be filled. I'm not going to say every single cabinet pick, but I'm going to cover some of the main ones. All right. Some of the great cabinet picks that I think. Number one, RFK Jr. being appointed to Secretary of HHS, Health and Human Services. Going to be amazing. Let's go make America healthy again. Get the GMO crap out of our food. Get the fucking chemicals out of the waters, supplies. Invest in regenerative agriculture. Do all that. Not have forced mandates for medicine. Allow free medical choice. Prescribe lifestyle changes. Prescribe people. Get these fat people working out and lifting weights and actually being healthy. It's all good. There's nothing but positives there. And anyone who says otherwise, because I've been told, oh, some of these are good, some of these are bad. Anyone who says otherwise is a fucking dumbass and doesn't know what they're talking about. Okay, they have not looked at the science. Okay, there was literally a document signed by over 460,000 medical professionals that were against what happened during the coronavirus. Okay, they literally just appointed a doctor, a very famous Indian doctor. I believe he's from Harvard, if I'm correct. I may be wrong, but last I checked, he was from Harvard, who agrees with RFK Jr. on a lot of the issues. Not all of them, but a lot of them. Of course, nobody's going to completely agree with everyone, but a lot of these issues. So yeah, anyone who's saying otherwise they're dumb. They don't know. They don't know anything. Like our fucking current HHS secretary right now is fucking a morbidly obese, like, drag queen. Okay, like who double masks indoors. Even though Anthony Fauci said that double masking doesn't work, like in 2021. It's crazy. But yeah, glad we're going to get America made healthy again. Other good thing, Director of Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard. Fucking great pick. One of the best picks by Donald Trump. I did wish that she would have been more in charge of like defense or something, but intelligence is fine. It'll be good to see what she can do. Let's get that swamp drained. Another one that's good, Pam Bondi. Pam Bondi, doing really good. Doing really good, guys. She, a lot of people don't know, a whole lot about, about Pam Bondi. But basically, she is, she had done some speaking roles at Donald Trump rallies, and she was a special advisor for Donald Trump. And basically, she's that type of lady that's going to sit there and, she's going to fight, with everything she's got in her position. And she's going to be the attorney general. And I think she's going to go out there and, wreak havoc on the Democrats. Release the Diddy files, release the Epstein list. It's going to be great. It's going to be great, Skip. Last one in the great category. Scott Bessent from the Log Cabin Republicans, guys. Or actually, I got one more after this one. But, guys, he is going to be our treasurer. Guy's a smart guy. He's brilliant. And he's Donald Trump. He's also there, just kind of there to prove that Donald Trump isn't a fucking homophobe like the SJW left says he is, because Scott Bessent is gay. He has a husband and he lives in South Carolina, and he's got 2 kids. And he's a very smart, intelligent guy with the numbers. He's going to do great. He's going to do great things. Also, another great thing, Doge. Ron Paul was a little bit skeptical of it, but he did get to put his input in. I wish Ron Paul would have actually been included. Like, it would have been nice if there was like 3 people, but it's going to be Elon and Vivek running that. And I'm fine with Elon and Vivek. I think they're great. And Vivek's been awesome at destroying the SJWs in the culture war. He's really great. He has a lot of great, I'd say he has some somewhat libertarian takes, especially when it comes to like, the separation of church and state and whatnot, and also firearms. He's way better than Donald Trump on firearms. But he's going to be in charge of Doge, and Doge is supposed to be responsible for cutting they want to cut $2 trillion. They might cut $1 trillion or a few billion, but we'll take whatever we can get. If we're cutting that, money printing down, that's what matters. And Elon Musk, he's very brilliant as well. So I hope that the Senate can pass Doge and get them to, drain that swamp. There is, there's some mediocre picks as well. One of them, I want to say, is the Secretary of State, um, with Marco Rubio. I mean, he's fine for the most part. I'm not a Marco Rubio hater by any means. I mean, a lot of like Ron Paul, he's not a huge fan of it, and I mean, I get it. He's not great. He's not very good on Israel, um, and there's some other things that he does that I don't necessarily agree with. But when it comes to the Ukraine war and when it comes to things like that, I think he's pretty solid as well. Another person is Elise Stefanik right now. She's a U.S. representative. If you guys don't know, but she's also been appointed as well. I'd say she's kind of mid. She was good on like coronavirus and stuff. Um, but yeah, we'll see what she does. She has some takes that are off, kind of like some Nikki Haley-esque takes, but I mean, it's nothing to really necessarily cry about, I'd say. Nothing to really cry about. Um, what was the other pick? Donald Trump picks. What was that one lady who's in charge of? What was her name? Susie Wiles, I think is her name. There we go. Yeah, Susie Wiles. Donald Trump chooses Susie Wiles for White House chief of staff. She was, she was there with Trump last time, as well. Another return. She stood by Trump pretty firmly. Definitely Trump loyalist. She's all right. Nothing to necessarily write home about, but solid pick overall. I think the main point of having Susie Wiles be the chief of staff, is that it triggers the SJWs because now they can't say, "Oh, he's sexist," because he's appointed yet another woman to a major position in cabinet, ladies and gentlemen. A major position in the cabinet. And now let's get to the bad and ugly. Oh boy. Here's a dishonorable, but before that, let's get to a dishonorable mention. The dishonorable mention is Matt Gaetz. Matt Gaetz, I've never liked him that much. I just think he's slimy. He's a scumbag. I mean, just look at the guy. He just looks too clean cut. You can kind of tell like a slimy politician by the way they dress, the way they act. He's just snobbish. He's snobbish. That and he really did things in the House that I get that he was trying to be this, America First, committee guy, but I mean, during a time when we only had so much, when the Republicans only had such a tiny lead in the House, and we're trying to get a House Speaker, and the Democrats weren't going to vote for them, and every single vote the Democrats were getting closer. They were trying to do some horse trading. They were trying to talk to the neocons and get a couple neocons over, to go for Hakeem Jeffries. Finally, they picked Kevin McCarthy. He was mid. He wasn't great. I know he's not going to be the best guy ever, but he was all right. He was going to cut, he was going to lower the spending a little bit, try to work out a deal, be bipartisan, and it would have been a slight against the Democrats. But Matt Gaetz just really wanted his guy. Shit, I wanted what's his face? It was Jordan. Jordan was his name. Jim Jordan, Congressman Jim Jordan. Look, I really wanted him too. He's a fighter. He's great, but we weren't getting him with all the neocons at that point, and his judgment was bad. The other thing is the sex offense scandal and him being the only Republican in Congress to vote against an anti-human trafficking bill, a bill that would have, fought against human trafficking. Not a good look, especially when you have a sex scandal, of sexual misconduct with a minor on your record. I hope that committee actually releases it because I just want to see the truth. Okay. I don't care about any partisanship there. I'm a fucking independent. I don't give a fuck about this partisan hack shit. Release the shit. Let's see what happened. You've had 3 years to mount evidence. If nothing happened, good. He's all in the clear. If something happened, then we want to know about it, so we can get that guy out of here and say you're fired, bro. You're done. Another bad pick was Lee Zeldin. He is an oil tycoon who's been put in charge of the EPA. Horrible pick. And I think they picked Lee Zeldin because of horse trading reasons. That is what I believe. That, and also Donald Trump he just really wants to do the drill baby drill. I get it, but we need to have some sort of OSHA regulation on protection for oil, okay? And no deep sea drilling and shit like that, okay? It's just too damaging. That's just my take on it. The other thing, the last guy, I mentioned him earlier in the video, Mike Huckabee. He literally leads a fucking cult. He invented that creepy kids guide. He's so weird. That creepy ass motherfucking kids guide. And he is an Israel blowhard. Okay, he is a Zionist blowhard. He will just glaze Israel as much as possible. That, and he wants to start wars. He doesn't want peace in Israel or in Palestine. He wants the war to keep going on because he thinks it's going to bring about his end times. Fucking dumbass. Look, you don't get to make the American people suffer just because of your cult following an ideology. Okay, he runs this online cult, and he's just terrible. And if you want to know where I got it, I didn't get this from like CNN or some shit. I got this shit from The Guardian. They're somewhat independent. So, yeah. But, yeah, that is pretty much what I think of, Donald Trump's major picks. Any other picks you guys know about? Leave them in the comments down below. Anyways, that is all for this Nomadic News video. Again, guys, fuck Joe Biden, wearing the fuck Joe Biden hat. And, yeah, this is the Nomadic Cole signing off. Goodbye.